The anomalies, ladies and gentlemen, keep adding up. Our resident fact checker, Matt Palumbo, has a piece up at Bongino.com about 3 more election oddities. I went over yesterday the oddities and the roll-off. On yesterday's show, I talked about how all of these people in unprecedented numbers seem to vote for Joe Biden, but no one else on the ballot. Not their congressman, not their senator, not their dog catcher, not the ballot initiatives, nothing. Yet in every election, the people that vote for the president but don't vote for anyone else, those numbers are pretty comparable every single election. Why not in this one? Why did legions of people vote for Joe Biden and no one else down ballot? In anomalous statistical abnormalities where people are like, was there fraud there? We don't know yet, but we're entitled to see it, right? I mean, it is only the most important election of our lifetime. You think you're going to stop me from asking questions? You're insane. These leftist lunatics trying to pressure us all to shut up and sit down. No, you sit down. I ain't sitting anywhere. Except this chair when I do my show to tell you to go sit down. Matt Palumbo, Bongino.com. This will be up in the show notes. I want you to read this, please. Show notes are accessible at Bongino.com/newsletter. 3 election oddities no one can deny. Matt's very good at this stuff. And you need to understand these oddities because I don't know where the left and the media got the impression that the Trump movement and us specifically, we are the movement, is going away. We're not going away. I'm not sitting down. We're not going to be quiet. We will not be muzzled. We will not be blindfolded. There'll be none of the sort. None of that stuff is going to happen. I'm not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. I'm not sensing any quit at all. I'm sensing a resolute righteousness where people know we were on the right side of this and are eager for the next round in this political boxing match. I'm not sensing any quit at all. And you ain't getting it out of me either. President Trump got the most GOP votes of any presidential candidate on the GOP side of anyone in American history. Let's look at some of these anomalies. Let's go into screenshot here, number 1 from Matt's piece about Ohio. Ohio, the bellwether state. It's been a barometer for national opinion. It's had enormous success in forecasting election results. The saying goes, as Ohio goes, so goes the nation. Well, this is interesting. Excluding last week's election, the winner of Ohio has gone on to win the presidential election in every single election since 1904, with 2 exceptions. Republican Dewey won Ohio and then lost to FDR in 1944. And Richard Nixon won Ohio in 1960 and then lost to JFK. Florida is the largest bellwether state. Only twice has a Democrat won the presidency without winning Florida. No Republican since Calvin Coolidge has won the presidency without it. Now you may say, all right, Dan, that does seem a bit anomalous that President Trump won both Florida and Ohio, and we somehow lost this election. A rare occurrence in the history of presidential elections. But I get it. Correlation's not causation. I say that all the time in the show, and I'm not a hypocrite. I just want to point out that it is anomalous, tautologically by definition. Doesn't mean it's fraud, but it is an anomaly, right? Let's get to some more. I just wanted to point that part out to you because I told you yesterday about 4 or 5 other anomalies too that just keep adding up because correlation doesn't mean there's no causation either, right? It just means that it's not definitive. You know, people get more colds in the winter. I use this analogy all the time. Does that mean cold weather causes head colds? No, it's not what it means at all. It means cold weather causes more mucus in your nose because of the dry air. You spend more time indoors. You touch your nose more, you transmit the virus. There's a third variable there, you touching your nose. But when all these anomalies start adding up, maybe there is causation. So let's see. Let's go to number 2 because there are bellwether counties too. Just like there are bellwether states, there are bellwether counties as well. Vigo County, Indiana has been won by every presidential winner since 1956. And the same is true for New Mexico's Valencia County since 1952. Trump won both of them this year. Vigo by nearly 15 points and Valencia by 11. And they're not the only ones. Nearly every bellwether county was wrong this year, with only 18% of them going for Biden-Harris. Get your head scratching? Yeah, all these weird anomalies. Thank you. Joe's head scratching is much more effective than mine in the microphone, especially for our terrestrial listeners.
Good to hear. Yeah.
Big time. Again, anomaly on top of anomaly. Strange voting patterns in Milwaukee. People failing to properly execute software instructions. Ballots in nursing homes showing up on the same day. Say, I got that coming up. Don't you go anywhere. Voting patterns about bellwether counties that have accurately predicted the president by their voting patterns for years, that seemed to indicate the wrong guy this time. What about this? Part 3 of this Matt Palumbo excellent piece at Bongino.com. Talking about how Joe Biden got all these votes at the top of the ticket, but nobody seemed to vote for anyone else down ballot. No other Democrats, no one for dog catcher, no one. That's really weird how you would just show up to vote for the president. Oh, damn, that happens. Yeah, it does happen in very predictable numbers, but it happened an awful lot in this election. Was there fraud going on? Were people just trying to speed up the fraud process? We're just asking by voting for the president, not wasting time filling in other ballots. I'm just asking. So Matt says in the piece, in other words, we're to believe that Republicans did well everywhere, bellwether counties, Ohio, Florida, across the country in House races and Senate races, except the presidency? That seems awfully weird considering Donald Trump drove turnout, not the Republicans down ballot. The obvious response to anyone suspecting fraud is, well, if Democrats rigged the election for Biden, why wouldn't they have rigged it for congressional Democrats too? It's a typo there. I got to tell Matt. He has T.O. What? So I just exposed him. Sorry, Matt. One answer would be that if fraud did occur, it was in a few key swing states that by and large weren't the same states where congressional Republicans excelled. So just to be clear, does this make any sense that congressional Republicans dramatically overperformed? Dramatically. So did Senate Republicans as well. Tillis, Lindsey Graham, Susan Collins, and others. Dramatically overperformed. Won their races. And yet Trump, who drove the turnout, because we've had unprecedented turnout in this presidential election, not in the midterms, not elsewhere, for Republicans, that is, that nobody showed up for Trump, they showed up for the down ballot races. And yet on the Democrat side, everybody showed up for Biden, but didn't vote in the down ballot races? Ombudsman Joe, Ombudsman Paula, you get what I'm saying? So you're suggesting to me, in a presidential election where the most GOP voters in American history have ever turned out to vote for President Trump, the most, 71 million, by far the most, that we had 20,000 people at rallies, that people showed up on that side and voted more, relatively speaking, to the Democrats for down ballot candidates who nobody really was that excited about and didn't vote for Trump. And on the other side, the reverse happened?
No way.
And again, I'm not talking raw numbers. I'm talking relatively speaking to their counterparts. More people were excited. So let me simplify this even. Tell me that. Here we go. I got it. Because I always think about ways to make this super simple. You're telling me more people were excited about Lindsey Graham and Tom Tillis on the Republican Senate side beating their opponents than were excited about Donald Trump beating Joe Biden. Yeah. It's not getting in. It's not getting in. I'm having one of those liberal adamantium coated skull moments where the facts are not, I don't get that. More people, I'm not knocking Tillis or Graham. There's no time for GOP on GOP political violence right now. We got things to worry about. I'm just suggesting the obvious. That more people were excited about Susan Collins, relatively speaking, beating Sarah Gideon than were excited about Donald Trump. And that makes sense to you.
You just heard Dan Bongino.